everybody, welcome back to an episode of the 3 Count. Let me try that again. Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of the 3 Count. Huh. Let me have a swig of this. Let me try it again. Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of the 3 Count Super. That's not right, but we'll keep going with it because I am human and I make mistakes. But I am also War Machine MJ, and welcome back to 3 Count Super, where I'll be talking about the June 29th edition of Monday Night Raw, as well as the July 6th edition of Monday Night Raw. We kicked off the 29th edition of SmackDown with some chaos, and this was fun. Like this, I got a kick out of this because we kicked off Monday Night Raw with the double contract signing. You know, of course, the contract signing for the Raw Women's Championship match and the WWE Championship match. As soon as the cameras got rolling, and I thought, you know, there was something I missed, or you know, the replay was screwy. But yeah, Samoa Joe was trying to welcome us to another episode of Monday Night Raw, while Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Asuka were scrapping in the middle of the ring. It was kind of fun. Samoa Joe then got a handle on things as he brought out Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. So all four parties signed their respective contracts, and yeah, that led to a big kerfuffle in the ring, which set up a mixed tag team match later on the night. It's going to be the champions teaming up to take on their respective opponents for Extreme Rules. It's going to be Drew McIntyre and Asuka, which that is a primo team right there. Anyway, they'd be taking on Dolph Ziggler and Sasha Banks in the main event. And next we had Andrade and Angel Garza taking on the Viking Raiders. Of course, before this, Big Show cut a promo basically on Randy Orton and all of his recent transgressions when Zelina Vega and her crew came out to the ring and tried to basically put out the Big Show or serve him up on a platter to Randy Orton. The Viking Raiders came out, and that led to this tag team match between the Viking Raiders taking on Andrade and Angel Garza. Throughout the match, there was dissension between Garza and Andrade. At one point, Andrade started walking out of the match. But at the very last moment, these two got on the same page as Garza put away Eric of the Viking Raiders with the wing clipper. Next, we had R-Truth taking on Akira Tozawa for the 24/7 championship. And yeah, R-Truth did a little chicanery where he pretended to have an injured knee, but he got a sneaky roll-up on Tozawa and ran off into the night with Tozawa's ninjas chasing him. Of course, okay, that'd be next week. Sorry, I'm remembering something else. Next, we had a Seth Rollins promo where he was basically asking forgiveness from Rey Mysterio for well, not really for what he's done. It's what he's going to do. Um, then there was a promo from Rey Mysterio where he apologized to where he, well, not apologized, but he basically asked for forgiveness from Dominic to for what he's going to do to Seth Rollins. You know, Seth Rollins has basically struck a major chord with Rey Mysterio, and you see this this plucky underdog babyface kind of attitude just quickly slip away from Rey Mysterio. This led to a tag team match where Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy took on Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo. However, it was it was a decent match, but it was a victory nonetheless for the Monday Night Messiah and his buddy Murphy. But at the end of it, Seth Rollins sent a message loud and clear to Rey Mysterio by putting a mask on Humberto Carrillo and stomping him into the ring steps. Uh, Next, we had a quickie match between Ruby Riott and Peyton Royce, where Peyton Royce put away Ruby Riott with a spinning brain buster, just like that. Next, we got a 2-on-1 handicap match as the Big Show took on Andrade and Angel Garza. Of course, no surprise, Big Show got the victory. Next, we had MVP taking on Apollo Crews. Yeah, where this was, fantastic match, but MVP got the victory over Apollo Crews due to some shenanigans from Bob Lashley. Afterwards, Bob Lashley and MVP beat down on Apollo Crews, and that ushered in, oh, that gave way to Ricochet and Cedric Alexander showing up to support their guy. Of course, that also led to Ricochet taking on Bob Lashley, where despite everything that what that Ricochet could do against Bob Lashley, it wasn't enough against his power. So Bob Lashley put him away with the full Nelson. Of course, Bob Lashley showed that he was fair, and he doled out another full Nelson to Cedric Alexander. And finally, that led us to our main event, as Sasha Banks and Dolph Ziggler teamed up to take on Asuka and Drew McIntyre. This was a fantastic match. Of course, Asuka and Drew McIntyre putting on hella work. However, down the stretch, Asuka had Sasha Banks put in the Asuka lock, and Sasha Banks basically countered it into a roll up and hooked it in deep, getting a victory giving her team the victory over their respective champions. So, yeah, pretty decent main event. Next, we go to the July 6th edition of Monday Night Raw, where we kicked off the show with Dolph Ziggler playing a little mind games with Drew McIntyre. Because, by what Drew McIntyre said at the contract signing, where he basically told Dolph Ziggler to pick any stipulation he wants, so there's no excuse when he loses. Dolph Ziggler teased like he was going to reveal that. However, he did bring out Heath Slater. Heath Slater made his return. Of course, he was part of that mass round of cuts that WWE did a couple of months back. And Heath Slater looking jacked. Like he has not been a couch potato since he's been off. So basically, he's in summation of Heath Slater's point. It was when Drew McIntyre was cut from the WWE, Heath Slater had his back. Basically, kept up with him, make sure he was doing all right, all this, that, and the other. Said Drew McIntyre promised a match against him and that he was going to campaign for it. What happened? Heath Slater was out the door. And where was Drew McIntyre while Heath Slater was going out the door? Nowhere to be seen. Drew McIntyre said, "No, no, man, I don't want to fight you." And Heath Slater's like, "Oh, you don't want to fight me?" And then he shoves him. It's like, "How about now?" And that led to a really quickie match. Of course, Drew McIntyre put away he put away his old friend with the Claymore. Um, while Drew McIntyre was on his way up the ramp, Dolph Ziggler got in the ring, started getting into Heath Slater's face. They start scrapping, and Drew McIntyre comes in, chases off Dolph Ziggler, and there's just this nice little feel good moment as they both flash up the 3MB, because of course they were part of that trash act, but that's their history, man. Next we had we were going to have a promo from Sasha and Bailey. Of course, their main focus was Asuka's all alone. She's losing the numbers game, 2-on-1. Asuka basically said, "Who said I was alone?" She took a step back, and boom, Kairi Sane made her return to WWE TV. Of course, there's been rumor and speculation that Kairi Sane could be out the door. But yeah, Kairi and Sasha put on one hell of a match that ended in no contest as once again all four women got into a giant scrap with Kairi Sane standing tall, dropping an insane elbow on both Sasha and Bailey at ringside. Of course, there would be later on in the show. Oh yeah, later on in the show, there would be it would be announced that the following week on Raw there would be a women's tag team title match between the Kabuki Warriors and Sasha and Bailey. But that was announced later on the show. Next, we had the Kevin Owens show with special guest Seth Rollins, where we kicked off this KO show with him clearing the ring of all furniture because he knows how things are going to go down given his history with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins came out and KO told him, it's like, "Hey, listen, man, I know we have our differences, but I got you a present." And he handed him a KO Mania shirt. Basically said, "Yeah, it's a T-shirt from the WrestleMania that you and I faced off at. The WrestleMania where I beat you." Seth Rollins just casually tossed his shirt aside and said, "Listen, I don't care about you or your stupid show. I just came here to use this as a platform to get my message across." Basically, yeah, he was trying to send a message to Rey Mysterio. Of course, it was supposed to be a tag team match between Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black taking on Seth Rollins and Murphy. But, well, Murphy got to Aleister Black beforehand, taking him out of action for the night. So, Rey Mysterio got some help from KO for this tag team match, where, this was a barn burner of a tag team match. Of course, Mysterio and Owens got the victory, and so Ray got to name the stipulation for their match at Extreme Rules. And to show how far Ray's sanity has slipped, he challenged Seth Rollins to an eye for an eye match, where the only way to win is to extract one of your opponent's eyes. And yeah, everybody was just awestruck at this, including Seth Rollins and including KO, who just looked perplexed. So yeah. Next we had MVP unveiling the new United States Championship, which it'll take a while for me to get used to. I mean, it looks nice, looks clean, but it'll take me a while to get used to it. Uh, yeah, it basically says U.S. champion. There's a big eagle taking up most of the plate, which it looks nice. It looks clean. But yeah, he unveiled a new championship because he pinned Apollo Crews, who was the champion, and he basically, well, more or less started counting his ducks before they, well, counting his chickens before they hatch. You know, naming himself the new United States champion ahead of his championship match against Apollo Crews at Extreme Rules. Of course, Ricochet and Cedric Alexander weren't too happy with MVP's well, his opinions on things. So that led to a tag team match as Bob Lashley and MVP, aka the Hurt Business, took on Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. It was a decent match, but Bobby Lashley and MVP, who was still sharply dressed for this match, got the victory. Afterwards, Bob Lashley put Cedric Alexander in a full Nelson, but Ricochet was able to break that up after he did a dive from the top rope. Next, we had six-man tag team action as Randy Orton, Andrade, and Angel Garza took on Big Show and the Viking Raiders. Of course, earlier in the night, Viking Raiders were having a little bit of a laugh. Big Show just kind of angry with what Randy Orton's been doing. He just kind of slapped some sense into them, fired them up. Of course, Randy Orton gave the same pep talk to Andrade and Angel Garza. Well, more or less. Basically, he threatened them to get on the same page, or they were going to be beaten on the same page. There was a point at this match where Randy Orton got up in Angel Garza's face because he was slacking. However, in the end, Randy Orton, Andrade, and Angel Garza got the victory after Randy Orton had put Eric away with the RKO. Next, we had another blink and you miss it match as Ruby Riott, had a losing effort to Billie Kay. Of course, there was some assistance from Peyton Royce. So yeah. And finally, that led us to our main event as Asuka took on Bayley in a champion versus champion match. Of course, before the match got underway, Nikki Cross, who is Bayley's #1 contender, was on commentary. Of course, I love Nikki Cross. She's fantastic. Security was trying to remove her, but she basically said, "No, I'm here. I'm okay. I'm not going to get involved." So So yeah, that that didn't go as planned as Nikki Cross got removed by security from the show during the match, and also during the match she made her way back in and distracted Bayley long enough for Asuka to get the victory. So yeah, that's how we closed out the July 6th edition of Monday Night Raw. So that being said, well, that does it for another episode of the Three Count Super. Remember, if you missed Rodimus' opinions, I urge you to go check out his podcast, Prime Talk with Rodimus Prime, on the Castbox app. He has a lot of opinions that he needs to get out there. So, that being said, I'm War Machine MJ, and I will see you guys next time. Ba-bang.